Alright, good morning. I'm going to try and fix this governor issue again. I know it's been a while, but, you know, American Thanksgiving and whatnot means there's a lot going on. And heading into the rest of the holiday season. So, start by pulling the plug out of this EM2 here, and that was a little bit wet and oily, but the issue, of course, being that I think this new modification I made to the governor is just holding it too slow. Also, I'm going to try timing the exhaust valve a little better, because right now, let me make sure I'm turning this the right way. Remember that we got, this is our top dead center mark, and bottom dead center, right? There, that's top dead center again. So, this bottom dead center like this, but then it doesn't quite start lifting the valve until it's under bottom dead center, and then it gets around a top dead center and lets the valve down a bit. I think that it needs to advance the valve timing just a teeny bit so that it's popping the valve open just before bottom dead center. That way there's no pressure against the piston coming back up. But first things, I need to get that, try to modify the governor again. So to do that, I'm going to pull these four hex cap screws out again and just get the whole governor assembly off the side of the engine. And once those are loose, I like this tiny bit for spinning them out. I really should look into a set of standard hex keys that are just, you know, the cheap style with the long end and the bend, because the fancy ones that I have are nice most of the time, except for like this, when I need kind of a reach and I want to be able to spin them relatively fast. So, oh right, this is captured by the arm on the governor. Okay, now this is the 1.3 millimeter set screw. This pops right off, and then this bottom support with a bearing in it pops right off. And now back to a 1.5 millimeter set screw on the governor balls. And those come off, and we're back at my little rescued plastic washer. Wipe that off. We're still working inside the camera view there. Okay. So, I think I'm just going to try and use this wire cutter, 'cause it's got a good sharp cutter in it right there, and just nibbling away the outside edge here. Trying to make sure it's relatively even. And what I'm using to figure that mark out is the, let's see now. Okay, so let's see if there. Does this background work? Okay. So in this pill bottle bottom that I'm using, will that focus? Let's see. Nope, it's having trouble focusing that close. Anyhow, you can see it's got this dish upward. That's actually, the big bottom had a flat and then this dish part in the center, so I'm just using the spot where the dish starts, and I'm trying to trim this as close as I can to that. I'm gonna put this back in here in a second. There. So you can see from my center hole it actually looks pretty round. So I'm gonna brush all these plastic chips off everything, because I wasn't thinking of just cut above my workspace. Now again, the reason that we're doing this is because this upward convex part let the governor balls swing out far enough that they were slamming into the side of the engine. So I'm putting the concave section on, and then putting our governor weights back in place, and let's say they slid right off of there, so they just have to turn a little bit until they slide back on. Keep them down at the side like that, and then holding this all in place to get ready to tighten it is the exciting part. Okay, now so the challenging thing is making sure that we get a little bit of preload on the spring, but you can see the interference arm for the governor right here. When we preload that spring, we don't want that interference arm to be tight against the, we don't want that arm, see that gap, we don't want that to be tight against our exhaust valve. So I'm going to do this on this side. Very carefully hold this all in place as best I can. Snug that up now. Nope, didn't get it in the right spot, because you can see them. Oh. It's not quite coming out of the way far enough, so we'll just loosen that up. And actually, let's try it this way. Just gonna hold the governor balls up, and all I'm doing is squeezing these two parts together and letting the spring relax. Tighten that up. Alright, so the governor ball holder and this concave piece were held together, and now the governor ball not quite enough action. Okay. Alright. Alright. Setting this is just a pain. Try that. So I held all this together. The exhaust valve wiggles, so I held all this together, and what I did was I pushed the exhaust valve that way, which is tight against the finger that holds it open. Now I think it's going to give me, yeah. There we go. Just enough. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Alright, let's try this again. When you reassemble this, the bearing in here is going to be up. At least that's the way it was on mine. And just get the tiny bit out. Because we have to set the gear clearance on the bottom, I'm just going to, yeah, like what I need is for this to not fall off the end. So I'm putting this gear on so it's kind of even with the end of the shaft. Snug. Alright. Now, get this back on the side of the engine and see what our timing on the valve is. So, the last time I did this, I forgot to double check I was on top of the exhaust valve here. So I'm making sure that we're on top of the exhaust valve, and then starting these top screws. So holding the top so that the rocker is on top of the valve like it's supposed to be. That way I don't have to force it like I did the last time, which was not actually a good idea, but that's what happens when you get lazy about fixing things. I should have taken it off and reset it properly, but it turned out okay. Alright. I just dropped that screw and it seems to have fallen someplace inside the bottom of the engine. It didn't get stuck. Oh yeah, it got stuck to the magnet. The flywheel magnet caught it for the ignition, so there we go. Alright. That's still in place. So I'm going to tighten this part, the governor on the side, and then retime the exhaust. I'm going to do that by just loosening the set screw on this lower gear here. That is also going to let the two gears mesh pretty nicely as they just sort of settle in place. Now, turn this. That should be bottom dead center. Okay. And then top dead center. Bottom dead center. Alright, so this is bottom dead center. Set screw is there. The lobe on the cam is ready to open the exhaust valve. So I'm going to move it just, wait. This is up. Okay, that's bottom dead center. So set it just a degree or so, 4 or 5 degrees ahead of bottom dead center, and tighten this set screw up. And then see how we ended up here. Alright, fantastic. So, top dead center, and then bottom dead center, and then top dead center. That was compression, and then ignition, fires, and now the yeah. So you can see as we hit bottom dead center, the exhaust valve just starts to pop open. I think that is going to be very good timing, so see about trying that out when I get a chance. Unfortunately, as I said, it's the holiday season and I had a lot of stuff going on, so we'll see. If I make time, we will give it a shot and see if that was enough to fix that governor issue that I have and have it run a bit. So we'll see you when we have this figured out. Well, see you when we try it out.